she's not having any of it. She starts to not listen. And finally, she just shoves me aside, runs off the bus and says, "That's my son!" And the whole bus just kind of looks up, maybe looking for a small child. This is a travel story, but it is also a story about being an oldest daughter. So before I tell my story specifically, I gotta tell you guys a little bit about my mom. My mom is badass. She raised 3 kids on her own, and she loved to travel. And so she really prioritized taking me and my brothers on adventures. My whole childhood, we would go to national parks, we'd go on road trips. We went overseas, we went to Costa Rica, we went to London, and she prioritized having these really deep, meaningful experiences. But also, looking back, I took these for granted, and how she managed to travel all over the place with me and 2 little, my brothers are twins, just like running around everywhere, I do not know. Because not only is my mom incredible and adventurous, she also is very anxious. And somehow she managed to balance those 2 things. So fast forward to me in college, starting to grow up, I inherited a lot of her adventure. I lived in Africa for a summer, I studied in Madrid, and right after college I moved to Brazil for about a year. And I knew no Portuguese, but just decided we're going for it, started to learn Portuguese, kind of started to get my bearings, and my mom wanted to come visit with my brothers. And I was like, great, this is perfect. I'm gonna show you the country that I'm living in now. I can take you around, I know where things are. My mom says, perfect, we wanna go to Rio and we wanna go to the Amazon. And yeah, for those of you who know Brazil, that is like saying, I want to go to San Francisco and New Orleans. Like, it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. But we figured it out. We figure out the flights. We kind of understand how it's going to happen. And we start off going to the Amazon. And it's amazing. It's an adventure. We eat piranhas. We're in the water. I get a migraine and we can't go to a it's wild and crazy, but it's so much fun. We have a great time. My brothers at this time, so I'm in my early 20s and my brothers are in college, so they're probably about 19 or so. And they, used to be little wee things, but now they are 6'1". One of them is playing varsity baseball. They're kind of like the sweetest guys in the whole world, but they look large. So we leave the Amazon and we're heading to Rio. And because this isn't actually a very common route to take, there are some plane transfers that need to happen. Okay, it's an airport. It's a major country. This is what happens. My mom is starting to get a little nervous because now that we're in the airport, we're not around tour guides anymore, and so we don't have anybody who speaks English. She had thought that she was going to understand Portuguese because she spoke Spanish and a little bit of Italian. Portuguese is none of those things. I also made that mistake when I moved to Brazil. I was like, I speak Spanish, it's fine. It's totally different. It sounds different. You can't pick out any words. So we're starting to move through the airport, and I can tell that she's getting anxious. We're deplaning. We have to go catch a new plane. And the airport is kind of large, and so we have to take a shuttle to get to different places. This is probably something that a lot of people who've traveled experience it. You get off the plane, you get on a bus, the bus takes you somewhere, you get on another plane. We're deplaning, and somehow one of my brothers, the younger of the 2 twins, gets stuck behind. And as we're coming down the staircase from the plane, my mom and I get on the bus, and we see my other brother coming. The bus is getting kind of full, and the attendant starts to make a motion like we're closing the bus. We're gonna let the other people come on another bus. And my mom is starting to get freaked out because my brother's way up at the top of the stairs. And I can see her getting more anxious, and I'm trying to explain to her. I asked the guy what's going on. He's like, oh, there's another bus coming. It's all in Portuguese. I'm trying to explain to her. She's not having any of it. She starts to not listen. And finally, she just shoves me aside, runs off the bus and says, "That's my son!" And the whole bus just kind of looks up, maybe looking for a small child. Never suspecting that the 6-foot-tall man at the top of the stairs is who she's yelling for. But the attendant graciously lets us off the bus. We wait. Another bus pulls up. My brother comes down the stairs. We all get onto this bus. We ride through the airport in silence. Get off the bus. We walk up. We get to our gate. I kind of turn to my mom just to process. I'm like, Mom, are you okay? I'm really sorry about that. She just turns to me and goes, Don't you dare get between me and my child. And that is what it's like to be an oldest daughter.